a lot of teams in the LPL.
Yep, the Jinx, the highest priority AD carry, just because the range advantage is gone. They have their pick of the litter when it comes to junglers. When it comes to those solo laners in terms of things like that Rise that you mentioned, but also things like the Gnar that was blind picked for Bin certainly looked pretty good in the blind pick scenario earlier on in the series, but the Nautilus that the fans were laid out for is going to come on through, and Viper will go to Old Faithful in that Aphelios.
Yeah, not a massive surprise here. This is kind of going back towards a more traditional pick and ban that we've seen over and over in the LPL. Here's to see though what RNG go for. Jungler feels like it's going to be on the cards here. Potentially of the Xin Zhao to go towards, which way is already hovering. And honestly, I'm pretty sure we're going to go for a support here for Xiaohu unless they want to. Right? I was going to say the Alistar pickup, but there's always the option to go for, you know, Xin Zhao and the Rise if you wanted. Like, make sure you've got that Rise pick in your back pocket, but they're all good. They're just going to go for the Alistar. I imagine Xin Zhao still here, unless they still feel comfortable leaving way into that second pick phase. But with the Hecarim band away, you don't get as easy as a time in those first kind of 1 to 6 levels, so they will go back towards the jungle.
That aggressive jungle matchup. The Hecarim off the table does make this a lot easier to pull off. Jiejie doesn't have that strong, secure engage tool that he has kind of been relying on, it has to be said. Maybe Jarvan could be an option they could lean towards. He's also played things like the Polybear, things like the Poppy, although in this match, I'm not sure Poppy would be that good. Although pretty good against the Alistar. We'll have to see where EDG are going to lean on this.
And this is where I really start to question what RNG's game is. Ahri actually going to be picked up for scouts, so good push in the mid lane, but this is now going to even just double down. My question is, how do RNG play this? Because we've looked at Bin. Bin has been almost exclusively side lane pressure. It's kind of been a 1-4 operation for RNG, unless Xiaohu ends up on things like the Rise, which I imagine are going to be banned away here. Things that can actually like have presence in this side lane. And for RNG, it feels like they're going towards some sort of team fighting composition with the champions that they have locked in, but that hasn't been RNG's style. So I now want to see what the plan is for RNG. Do we get a shift from Bin, where instead of playing these side lanes, he is actually going to go towards something that can be a bit more team fight oriented?
I'm not going to lie, I'm just looking at this bit like Ahri there, like Xiaohu, play LeBlanc. That's it. That's all I ask. I want the matchup again. I got to see it twice last time I cast, and I'm addicted. I'll be honest. I'm totally addicted. I need more of that in my life. EDG, if you ban LeBlanc, I'll be furious. Don't you do that to me. I need Scout versus Xiaohu. I need Assassin versus Assassin. Give me the banger matchup.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like it could be. I mean, it's such a good pick here.
If I have to meet halfway, I'll accept his Zed, okay? I'm willing to.
I don't know. I don't know if I get the Zed. Actually going to be the Galio ban, so maybe you still get it, because like what I was kind of pointing at was like, are RNG going to go side lanes? It feels like, you know, still traditional bin champions works well. Maybe Xiaohu goes towards the LeBlanc here, and then you can actually play through those side lanes. The only thing I will say for EDG is like, Scout does, if you go towards LeBlanc, if Xiaohu goes towards LeBlanc.
Rogan, is that you?
Yeah. If Xiaohu goes towards the LeBlanc, Scout gets a good amount of control in the mid lane and can look for roams on either side. So that may be what you're a little bit worried here for EDG. But EDG, I think you go jungler into your counter pick top. Plenty of options here still to go for, even with the volley and the Trundle band away. Lee Sin available. Viego if you really want to go towards as well. But I definitely think having the earlier pressure with the Lee Sin makes a lot of sense here for EDG.
I was kind of excited. Oh my god, he hovers the Zed. Come on! Don't do that to me, Xiaohu. I was kind of expecting a Jarvan to be locked in for Jiejie here as opposed to the Lee Sin, but I like the aggression we're getting, and I like that combo with the Ahri. Being able to play for the 2v2. I don't think it is going to be the Zed after all, but Vex still kind of exciting. Certainly good against the Ahri, right? Think how many dashes Ahri has. That's the whole point of Vex, is to
yeah, the only problem that you have is that, so Scout's damage is higher off of his Q and has a lower mana cost. So when you're playing this Vex, you have to usually invest 2 spells to clear the wave in the same time that Ahri does. So you actually still end up with Xiaohu being pushed in this matchup in a lot of situations. So it's still that advantage and the priority for Scout and the opportunity to roam. So we'll have to see how Xiaohu's going to deal with that as Bin goes back towards the Gnar, both split push and that team fighter that we're kind of angling for RNG. So overall, RNG, you know, good solo lane in the 1v1 thus far. Like, not a huge amount that Gnar really struggles against in that 1v1. And now you've got phenomenal team fight. For EDG, still think you've got great team fight, but I would rather see a little bit more engage potentially here for EDG, just because your only big engage tool right now is that Nautilus, and with not really much in the way of backline threat, Gala could be reasonably alright in these team fights.
I will say, XiaoXiang, you've earned my respect with this one. Going for the Sylas again after being completely bodied in this matchup in game number 1. I respect the commitment to saying, no, I just misplayed. We can do this. We can go again. XiaoXiang goes for that Sylas. And we have a very scrap-heavy team on the top side here from EDG, right? Lee Sin, Ahri, Sylas. These guys would love to have a 3v3.
And teams that are, sorry, top side of the map that is very good at roaming and playing for skirmishes to say. So if Scout can get that control, lean to top side, you're going to be in a great spot. One of the big things, obviously, with the Aphelios and the Jinx
teams with big positives and weaknesses across the course of the split. But EDG, after, it has to be said, a rough few games recently, managing to show us what they are made of in game number 2 of the series, and now drafting a composition where they can be proactive in the early game, and that's a very positive thing for us to see.
And when EDG have had control over level 1s, I was curious to see what the plan here was for EDG, but with everyone kind of scooting out towards those sides, fanning out, making sure that no one can get those wards down. Looks like, oh, never mind. As I say that, EDG still want to keep the level 1 shenanigans going, but will be spotted out by that early ward from RNG.
Looked like they actually dropped a ward of their own, either not clearing vision. Meiko just wanted to say, hey, surprise, surprise, I'm going to the bot lane, guys. Showing on that bottom side of the map. But yeah, it doesn't look like anything's going to happen at the level 1 at very least. 10 seconds until those camps spawn. You'll see both junglers moving over towards their camps. Wei starting on the top side and starting solo. So it will be no information there as Scout takes a heavy chunk from Xiaohu. Nicely done by Xiaohu to find a cheeky little trade. But I want to talk about the junglers, right? Xin Zhao versus Lee Sin. You anticipate early presence from both of them and pathing in opposite directions.
I think the mid jungle for both sides is going to be really crucial, and who can kind of get that early advantages. Xiaohu doing a really good job here against Scout, and that's actually, so you often a lot of the times we'll see the Ahri able to push relatively all right with the Q start here, because the big thing about the Q is that you've got the lower mana cost, you've got the same damage on the way out, but true damage on the way back in, which helps to shove his Ahri. But because you start with the movement speed W here for Scout, he's trying to play off the auto attacks and play up in this lane matchup, but it's just not working out. Xiaohu consistently getting these fear off, getting good trades, and Scout now kind of on the back foot here.
In the early trades, and that's despite starting with that Foxfire first as well, which, you know, they changed how that works a little bit, so it's a bit more effective. Xiaohu being too aggressive, though. The ward hop from Jiejie forces out the flash. Sonic Wave is there, and First Blood taken by Jiejie, but answered already by Wei. The charm a little too late from Scout. Will be a 1-for-1, but ultimately First Blood for EDG.
Crucially, though, that gold went to Xiaohu, whereas the gold on EDG went to Jiejie. So despite the fact that you've got the wave now pushed in for Wei, Xiaohu actually picked up a good amount of that CS. You can see it's relatively even in the mid, but the gold advantage is actually in favor of Xiaohu. So nice start here for Xiaohu, at least in getting that kill and not falling behind in this lane match.
Meiko and Viper could be in trouble. Wei, he got an assist in that mid lane. That wasn't enough. Now he wants some kills on the bottom side of the map. Viper and Meiko versus the world. Can they survive the dive? It's like Wei isn't going to pull the trigger, though. Drops a ward on over. This will actually just be a play from RNG to set Gala up with a plate in the bottom side, but also deny a butcher farm from Viper. Jiejie's in the mid lane, flash charm from Scout, and there's no flash available. Oh, but there's some personal space right there. Xiaohu just outplays them.
And the Sonic Wave goes wide. Really well played by Xiaohu, and that flash invested from Scout to try and make that play happen. We said the mid jungle was going to be where it's at. Well, thus far, EDG not able to make that stick.
Jiejie now going up to the top side. Oh, I'm loving game 3 already. Action all the way. Bitten on the wrong side of the play, though, as Jiejie gets a shield over onto XiaoXiang. Sonic Wave, and the solo laner grabs the kill.
Being overextended there. Wanted to try and crash that wave, but honestly, I don't think he needed to. You can see where the wave is positioned right now. That was going to push back out into him, just trying to bully XiaoXiang in this top side with no real control over the river. Being caught between a rock and a hard place and ends up falling.
going down. Did manage to keep hold of his flash at very least. So silver linings there on the top side for Bin, but once again, kind of biting off more than he could chew. Apparently not expecting a gank from Jiejie, but so far Jiejie has been incredibly proactive. We were talking about Wei being the jungler that's incredibly proactive coming into this series, but Jiejie, I am loving this, right? He ganks mid, he re-ganks mid, he ganks top, like, he's just everywhere on the map.
Jiejie's been doing an exceptional job, and a lot of that has been, you know, playing off of the strength of the mid, trying to see if he could set up along Scout. Now, one kill in his back pocket, another kill going over top side, which I will say is more of an opportunistic one, just where Bin was positioned. But we'll have to see if Jiejie can continue this strength. Wei has been farming up, and Wei's been doing, was proactive in the Weibo series, but it's something that we haven't seen from Wei a huge amount. I thought we were starting to get a little bit here with him playing down towards Gala, but again, I want to see more from Wei here, seeing if he can try and get a little bit more control for Xiaohu in that mid lane, especially when that flash comes up for Xiaohu, and he's got that little bit of a window where Scout doesn't have his own flash up.
Yeah, and despite that play that we were talking about towards that bottom side, it's actually Viper with a CS lead so far in the game. Maybe an attempt onto Scout. Don't know if that's going to happen. Waiting in the wings here. No flash available for Scout. He's not level 6 just yet. It's going to happen. Scout trying to back away, trying to keep himself safe. But there's a fear and there's a finish off. Easily dispatched by the side of RNG. And now they can deny some minions as well. Remember, no TPs in this mid lane. We're so used to seeing the TPs all the time. This will be a big advantage now for Xiaohu.
There are two global taunts in this game. Teemos and a low health cannon minion. And Scout got caught out by it there as well. Tries to move up to get the cannon. Greed in his eyes and gives Wei the opportunity to go for it. So now Wei and Xiaohu getting back control of that mid lane, just like we said we wanted to see. And now Wei thinking of going for the dragon, but does spot Meiko.
Going for the Meiko at this point. Gets a bit of damage down. Oh, a zap. And I want to point something out. I mentioned a CS lead for Viper in that bottom side. And while that is true, Viper actually hasn't reset yet. So that one wave difference that was in existence in the bottom side is just because he hasn't left lane. And now a zap out from Gala means he still can't reset. Now finally we'll go back to base. But that buys so much space for RNG's bottom side to go for this Drake now. And EDG trying to answer in the top side as they go towards Bin. But Xiaohu is here. He's read the play. Shadow Surge is a complete whiff, but the fear is still plenty. And Xiaohu gets his second kill of the game.
XiaoXiang, have you played Gnar? Like, that is the second time you've completely whiffed on this ultimate in crucial moments. Like, XiaoXiang just scooping gravel as he gets put into the dirt by RNG. Like, watching the replay here. Like, yes, Shadow Surge goes wide, but Jiejie, great kick, and XiaoXiang completely whiffs. So Bin is able to get completely out of the equation, follow-up damage onto Jiejie, and again, whiff dives from EDG in the early stages. It's the exact same as game one.
Yeah, bit of an oof. Bit of an oof for XiaoXiang. And Dagda pulling no punches on the cast today as XiaoXiang is just straight up roasted. Brutal. But, you know, it does happen. He's a professional player at the end of the day. You got to hit your ultis. And as you say, that's the second time in this matchup. Kind of whiffing these Gnar ults. But I want to talk about Xiaohu. I'm not interested in the top lane. I'm interested in this Vex pick. It's worked in the mid lane alongside Wei. Now making it happen up on the top side. Yes, he whiffed the ultimate slightly, but ultimately still able to make the play happen on the top side. Now with a 2-kill lead, with Boots already finished, with a Dark Seal starting to stack up. Perhaps a fight around Herald could be the play, but he doesn't have his ultimate available.
RNG going to be late to the play. EDG already positioned. I don't know if they want to fight this.
I think that they do, Dagda, because they are definitely going in on this one. Scout stunned up by Ming, and in the meantime, Meiko's already taken down. Jiejie did manage to get a Herald, and XiaoXiang sneaks in to pick it up. Moonlight Vigil from Viper as Scout dives forward, but it will be a disengage in the end. One death for a Herald. I think EDG will take that.
So, I'm actually not sure how this has happened. This, I think, is the first time I've ever seen it in the LPL. Playing for Rift Herald, the support for RNG is level 6, and Gala is level 5. I'm not really sure what's happened on this bottom lane. But that's why I was like, oh, you don't want to fight this. The Aphelios is stronger. You don't have the Alistar is going to have that big engage. Like, he's not going to be strong enough, but he just tanks up the ult, and that's what sets up this really good engage. So, I mean, carry Ming in the bot lane, and he's able to win the fight. That was so big brain from RNG.
I'm genuinely like baffled how that has happened. How on earth is Ming a higher level than Gala at this point in the game? And Gala's still level 5. He's still can't get the ulti out yet. Bit of a weird one. Maybe Ming doing a bit of solo farming. He does have 14 CS. I don't know.
The
I have
classic
no
Senna
idea.
is Jinx cosplay, you know?
Yeah, fasting Jinx. Maybe this is the way to go. I mean, he is 10 CS down, so there's an argument to be made. Yeah, bit of a weird one here. 4-2 on the scoreboard now, as it's a bit of a lead for the side of RNG. 1,500 gold. Wei wants to extend that as he moves towards this bottom side, but he steps over a ward. I don't think play will turn into it.
I want to go back to it. Maybe no, they're still going to back it. I want to go back to the conversation that you started for Xiaohu, though, just off of the top lane play that we saw. This is like something that Xiaohu has become exceptional at. It's something he had RNG playing towards on the top side, but now that he's in the mid lane, he's very good at reading the map and being in places that he needs to. And this was something that was why Lyric was kind of shouting his praises from the hilltops in 2020, was Xiaohu understanding how the game was going and what he needed to do. And in that situation, Xiaohu is there to cover that dive for Bin and topside, which shuts down what EDG are trying to play for. Giving up the wave in mid to be there, and it's paying dividends now for RNG once more with Xiaohu's really good shot.
Oh, Bin actually gets hit by an ulti. XiaoXiang has done it! And they managed to get themselves a kill. And now remember, XiaoXiang picked up the Herald earlier on. Jiejie moving in to steal a bit of plate gold because he's a scumbag. But XiaoXiang, if he wants, could just slam that Herald down at this point. No teleport available for Bin. XiaoXiang could just grab a whole ton of solo.
Yeah, Wei needs to stay here so then that exact issue doesn't happen. But that means that you've now got full information on EDG as to where the enemy jungler is positioned. So Jiejie going to go back. He's going to clear his Krugs. Unfortunately, with resets kind of coming through from EDG, they're not exactly able to expose that. But Wei will be very easy to track now for the next little while. And he will be behind on clearing these camps in comparison to Jiejie.
Tough one. So I'm looking across the board at some of the CS deficits, and the one that is jumping out the most is in Scout. So having a bit of a rough time up against Xiaohu on this Vex. The Vex pick, you know, we talked about how it's going to be good into the Ahri anyway for the dashes, but well before dashes came into the play, it's been Xiaohu finding an advantage. See the setup for this play? Min just overstepping, and he's so close to Mega Gnar, but just comboed down before he can ever do anything.
It's the false sense of security there, thinking you're going to be alright. EDG as well now. It's still 12 minutes into the game, so no Unleashed teleports, but Rift Herald now popped down by XiaoXiang. He has the teleport in case any sort of pesky business comes down on the upside of the map.
Bin is going to all in up on this top side and try and find the kill on XiaoXiang. Shadow Surge comes on in. The fear doesn't actually land, though. Doesn't matter. Kill for Bin. And XiaoXiang will get the 2 extra plates. He will get a chunk of gold there, but ultimately, that's a shutdown. That's a bit of bounty gold for Bin. And it will close the gap. It's only a 300 gold lead for XiaoXiang, despite 2 kills and 3 plates.
And traded for a Cloud Dragon as well on EDG's side. At least RNG are kind of shutting down the Sylas in this top lane and getting a little bit more control. But from RNG's side, I want to start looking at these items that are coming through. Gala opting for the Kraken Slayer. I think this is a great build from Gala. There's not going to be a huge amount of backline pressure if RNG can set up for these front-to-back fights, but that does require Bin being with the team.
Getting chased away here. Moonlight Vigil out from Fiber, has the Gravitum if he needs to try and protect his support. Meiko gets out with an anchor, but will be chased down. Finished off by Ming. The Ignite taking the final blow there. And it's 6-3 on the scoreboard. And honestly, Dagda, this is heating up. This is starting to become the game that I wanted this entire series to be. I said I was disappointed by EDG in game number 1 of the series, not showing up. Then game number 2, they come alive. Game number 3 now, these two teams both going toe-to-toe, just 1,000 gold between them at 13 minutes in, and it feels like both have big win conditions they can play towards.
And I think a lot of this game is going in RNG's favor because of Xiaohu in this play. He's been so good at getting active on the map, getting into positions where he can actually, you know, help influence this early game. Whereas we look at Scout, like every matchup that I've seen with this Ahri is able to get control over the lane, but I think misplaying in the level 1, not being able to get control early, and the ganks from Wei have really shut down how Scout has been able to influence the game. And for EDG, that's now causing them major issues with RNG having a slight gold lead, being able to play more heavily down towards this bot side, and getting some access to things like the dragons in these early stages. 3 minutes until that next dragon, though. Rift Herald will be the main port of call here. Gala is resetting, and RNG want to fight once more.
Certainly do. Gala needs to get up there quickly, though. Finishes off his tier 2 boots, so we'll have a lot of damage with that. Oh my god, the combo coming through straight onto Wei. He's the one that needs to be alive for the play, but in comes the damage. And EDG on top of the play. Xiaohu flies in for the fear, but XiaoXiang trying to answer. He is damn tanky with a stolen unbreakable will. Dives the backline, but finally falls. Gala is the AD carry to shout about this time around. The reset's coming up through. He's excited, and he's chunking through Viper. Says he's the better player, and now the Herald is open.
I mean, it's bloodbath in that fight. Meiko limping away. Jiejie just getting out. And Gala is standing tall, but it's a 3-for-3. Gala would now get pushing mid. But we can just get this fight take 2 in just a matter of moments. But replay here. Great opportunity for the pick to come through on EDG, but Ming with the hero play. This is why Ming's Alistar is so feared, being able to shut down the opportunity for EDG to follow up. Xiaohu, great play there as well to send himself in with the Shadow Surge, which separates EDG once more. It's been incredibly difficult for EDG to follow up on these plays in the fight because of Ming and Xiaohu, and that buys time for Gala to get from the base and carry through as the AD carry.
And we keep on talking about how Viper is the big man in the bottom lane, how Viper carries every single game, but this game, it's Gala. 2-0-2 now, had a CS lead from the laning phase, slightly ahead in gold. But Dagda, I think we might have a take 2 on this fight. I think the bell might be ringing once more as RNG don't want to let this go without a fight, trying to clear some vision. Hex smash over the wall from Ming. Misses the charm. Everything but the caliber misses. The XiaoXiang takes a huge chunk and is just taken out. It's already won by RNG. And now a Shadow Surge forwards. Viper Gale falls out safe to Xiaohu. Keeps himself alive. Moonlight Vigil blocked by Bin. RNG, they've got everything they needed.
And EDG didn't get the Rift Herald, so they get to go back
the flash
over.
from Scout. The play onto Gala and Viper gets the kill. EDG, they don't go down without a fight. And they stop RNG in their tracks.
I wasn't even looking at Gala. I thought he was all fine. I thought he was out. But EDG, they make that pick. And now Gala dead for 20 seconds. Dragon in 45. EDG coming back on the map. And RNG just a little bit late to that play on the at the Rift Herald. Like, Bin didn't manage to get there eventually. But he had actually gone down towards that bottom side. So RNG not able to instantly follow up, which means that EDG are able to at least walk away a little bit here. Ming, great positioning with the flank. Means the Viper has to go right the way out of the equation, but you can see how late Bin was here. And if Bin had been that tad bit early, maybe you get the slow, maybe you get that Mega Gnar to make the play, but yeah, just no vision here for Gala. Tries to push in that wave before going for Rift Herald, and it costs RNG so much. Now EDG have the opportunity to trade objectives. Rift Herald could go to RNG, but that would be a second dragon and another Hextech Soul for EDG started.
I just want to say that, oh, hang on. Oh, no, JJ's okay. I just want to say, Xiaohu, with the engage there, the follow, the Shadow Surge land on the Viper, he didn't have his Fear available. Zhonya's as soon as he arrives. Basically doesn't cast a single ability before the Zhonya's. It's like the Westall version of Vex. Like Westall used to use the TF ult and then Zhonya's immediately to buy himself time. Feels like that version. But the Vex edition from Xiaohu here. Another charm comes through. Bin in Mega Gnar right now. Maybe a chance for EDG, but Scout's so low. And in goes Xiaohu, eradicating everybody. Xiaohu eviscerates EDG before our very eyes. A dominant victory here for RNG as they will finally take a Herald.
There is a reason Xiaohu is considered the best Vex in the LPL, and you just saw it there. Wait, XiaoXiang just about able to escape, but Xiaohu, that was beautiful. Just about eking that Shadow Surge on towards Scout, who had already been chunked out. Sets that fight up beautifully. Now you get the Dragon for RNG. Rift Herald. Bin's getting top tower. The only outer turret that is really going to cause you issues right now for RNG is mid lane, and that's where that Rift Herald's going to go. But watch this. You get this phenomenal engage from Ming, popping the Unbreakable Will, and now Scout just getting caught by Xiaohu's Shadow Surge. The fear from the personal space. It all comes together so incredibly well for Orange.
I love watching Vex in team fights. It's so much fun, especially when Xiaohu is the pilot. EDG now, 5,000 gold down. They're one Drake down as well, with the next one coming up in 3.5 minutes time. But Baron is probably the next objective on the chopping block here for RNG, if they can find control. Xiaohu with 2 items is pretty difficult to deal with in the side lane at this point. I'm not sure anyone can match him. And Xiaohu, I think, heard us talking about Gala. We were saying, you know, Viper's been the carrier, now Gala stepping up. Xiaohu's like, look at me. I'm the carry now, okay? He comes up on the Vex and just single-handedly dominates.
I mean, look at his items. I mean, it's not even the fact he's at the Zhonya's as well. It's that 10-stack Dark Seal that he's going to become a mage guys fairly damn quick. And I do agree with you that pushing side lanes is great for Xiaohu, but I love the way he's playing this. Push side and then group, threaten the Shadow Circle. Because you don't know where Xiaohu is until he walks up on this ward, EDG can't contest the mid-wave push. Now with Xiaohu here, EDG may be looking for the contest with Scout on the flank.
Might just be a tier 2 taken. One more auto. There's the charge. Tower taken. Bit of an engage. Wei uses his ulti quite early in the scrap on this one. G are quite happy with the way that trade has gone. No ultimates used by them just yet, so perhaps an opportunity for a fight the next minute or so before Wei has his available again. But then again, I mean, they're so far down in gold. I'm saying they may have an opportunity for a fight. I'm turning Scottish, apparently. 7,000 gold lead for RNG right now. Even without an ultimate from Wei, I'm not sure EDG can fight them.
It's so hard. EDG, you can see, thinking of the desperation Baron there with those resets coming through from RNG, but RNG are just playing this so well. I mean, already getting that vision to make sure that EDG aren't sneaking the Baron. Bin has been doing a phenomenal job of pushing and grouping alongside Xiaohu, like we just pointed out, to make it really difficult for EDG to defend the base. And you have so much range on RNG's side in comparison to EDG that it's really difficult for EDG to try and contest the push, especially if Scout's looking for flank angles. Like, the only person you really have with wave clear that has range is Viper, which isn't going to work with.
I feel like we need to see something miraculous from EDG, but we've seen that. One thing I can say for EDG that are in the Lee Sin, you can always play things, right? You can always try and mess about with vision, but it's RNG that are messing about with vision right now because they haven't swept. They're on a ward. There's full information for EDG, and they're not going to let this one go without a fight. Big gold lead for RNG. Remember, they have a huge advantage as we start this one off. Ming going in, but a good flash. Now Meiko re-engages, but he's just not tanky enough. The Glacial means he just gets one shot. Moonlight Vigil comes out from Viper, but doesn't do all too much. They've stopped the Baron, but they've lost their support. They can't keep this contest up.
And Bin hovering on Mega Gnar as well. EDG can't really look for the engage because Bin will just turn at a moment's notice, but at least for RNG, they get the pick. Baron is still there. It doesn't really cost them too much because realistically, the big goal for RNG is this dragon in 30 seconds. The resets, though, coming in now means that EDG will have push in mid, the ability to set up for those picks you just talked about, Munch, in this river area. Keep your eyes on Scout. This charm is going to be so crucial in this fight.
Has his flash. The flash charm could be everything. Meiko having a really tough game 0-5 so far. Xiaoxiang just takes the Alistar ult again. And this is one of the reasons Alistar is so rarely seen, right? Against the Sylas, it's really, really tough. With RNG, they would love to get themselves this Drake as they start a fight off Wei with the engage. Rocket used very early in this one, but Meiko is basically out of the fight at this point. So low on HP, doesn't have Aftershock, so won't be able to be tanky in the fight. EDG will commit to the Drake once more. The longer they tank this one, Hextech Drake does quite a lot of damage. Shadow Surge, bit of a whiff here from Xiaohu, and perhaps an opportunity for EDG. Remember, they do have the Unbreakable Will for Xiaoxiang. He can be the front line, but Wei should be able to just smite this one out. EDG, they and ah for so long, and now Bin about to turn Mega. Charm over the wall from Scout to try and disengage, but Bin flashes and is dodged by Jiejie. Viper wants to carry this fight, but Purple Red ain't much of a combo. Wei now chasing down the front line as we've got someone in the back line as well. Ming finds the engage onto Viper, and RNG find two for themselves.
And Ming takes the Hex Gate to punch RNG's ticket in this fight. Now RNG starting to push forward. Wave is here. Tier 2 tower is exposed. And they got that dragon in the fight as well. It's all coming up for RNG.
Ming finding the miracle flank here. That was the Drake taking sole point for RNG. Baron is on the map. We just saw RNG posturing around Baron not too long ago. Now they have an even bigger lead. Now they have no objective on the bottom side that they can lose if they commit to a Baron. Feels like that's the next thing on the docket here for RNG. And so far, so good for the boys in gold. And EDG, we have to return to the conversations we had earlier on today, Dagda, because this is a team that is struggling with figuring out how to play out a game when they're behind.
And it feels like the barnyard from RNG is just taking over. Bin going from Chihuahua to Rottweiler, keeping EDG in check. Ming on the cow is just completely innocuous. No one's paying attention, but gets the perfect play on towards the EDG lineup. And now, Jiejie again, seeing if he can sneak into position. This is not to, well, possibly to find a pick onto Gala, but also to be in position if RNG start the Baron. Jiejie, the secret agent, can he get the play?
Can he manage to make it happen? Jiejie behind enemy lines, but spotted by Bin. And Jiejie slides on out of the play with a wall jump onto a blast cone. He cleared. So Jiejie, nobody knows exactly where he is, but they've got a good idea as a bit of damage comes out onto Wave. Vision is secured though by RNG, and ultimately the secret agent play doesn't happen. And you know, you're listing all the farmyard animals that are happening across the course of this draft, but realistically right now, one of the big differences is Scout getting outfoxed here by Xiaohu, who's having a game of his life here on the Vex. Phenomenal team fights coming out from him. See how many hits the Shadow Surge. They can make things happen. RNG are behind the play here. EDG on the wrong side of everything. No vision here. They're trying to chase them down. They're trying to find the opportunity. EDG continuing to move as a group. No rise in this game, so there are no realm war shenanigans. There is no way out. And now a TP from XiaoXiang behind the play. EDG go for the engage, but the Shadow Surge, Xiaohu with one already, finds a reset for himself. Can they find more is the question. EDG trying to disengage, but Viper doesn't have a way out. Slammed into the wall, walloped down, and now Xiaohu finds the back line. RNG just say no to EDG. They're not allowed to do anything. They're not allowed to go anywhere. Not even you, Jiejie, as Xiaohu shuts them down.
10-10, back-to-back fights for RNG. Xiaohu has stepped up wonderfully now for RNG to take these engagements, and it was a long time coming. RNG had to chase them down, but when XiaoXiang gets this great play onto Gala, it's the turnaround for RNG with Xiaohu. Great engagement from Bin here as well to just barely clip Viper, and look at Xiaohu straight on towards the back line, and with Gala going down, Xiaohu had to carry this fight, and there's just nothing that EDG can do.
It's so beautiful to see Xiaohu 10-2-10, and with 10 stacks on the Dark Seal as well. Isn't it pretty to look at? 23-8 on the scoreboard, and Xiaohu, the absolute man of the hour. This is the Emperor of Spring we're talking about here, and it is spring. So you better watch out, EDG. It's over a 12,000 gold lead at this point in the game, and EDG all but out. Viper on the Aphelios, maybe his scaling can be a conversation, but I don't know, Dagda. They need some kind of miracle. They need more than a miracle at this stage. They need something biblical.
There's just too much CC for Viper to handle. And if Viper can get those like complete team fights where he's fought solo, maybe. But you just look at the damage that's available for Gala. A full item ahead of Viper. Longer range for Gala. RNG are so far ahead, it's impossible unless they can kill Gala, shut out Xiaohu, and enable Viper. There's too many ands, buts, and maybes for EDG right now, and that's why they're care rate in their base, with so point about to be taken by RNG. EDG have to play turtle and stay in their house.
Dude, you know, with all of this talk about chihuahuas, talking turtles, we have to mention that Xiaohu, he's the little tiger. And while he may be small, he's got a bite and a half, and EDG are finding out firsthand here. Vex has been phenomenal, and it feels so good to see Xiaohu in the mid lane. A lot of people were skeptical of this player coming back into the mid lane at the start of the year, and he's looking phenomenal. He's looking exceptional. He's looking like one of the best mid laners in the entire damn league. And now an engage coming out from Ming in the base. Shadow Surge goes wide though. Perhaps a chance for EDG, but they're so far behind in gold. Bin behind enemy lines as Jiejie just can't do anything. Nobody can hurt the RNG members. Their health bars still going strong. Viper is alone on the backline. He's got a million chakrams, but being knocked up won't help him at all. RNG, it's an easy fight with the gold lead that they had, and they can just finish things off. Scout trying to escape, but Wei will just chase him down. He's a level up against the enemy mid laner. It's a clean, easy ace, and RNG remain the Emperors of Spring. The MSI champions come out on top once more.
2021 bout has been won by RNG, and with that win, they will move up to 3rd place in the LPL standings.